All right, let's go to Tamara in H-Town. What's up, Tamara? Go Astros.
Hi, Dr. John. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good.
Awesome. What's up?
So I just have a question. So I've sort of been struggling with like getting close to my stepson and like feeling that love for him like I should in a way. So
Tell me more.
we got custody of him, like half custody about a year ago. And before that, we would just have him like every other weekend and stuff. And my husband was obviously fighting really hard to get half custody.
Okay.
And
how old is this little boy?
He is 7.
7. How long have you been married?
We have been married for 2 years.
2 years. Were you previously married too?
Never married. I was in a previous relationship for like 9 years, and I had a daughter in that relationship. And my daughter's 8, so they're kind of close in age.
Sure.
Yeah. So before we got half custody, we had like full custody for a time because there was like the situation that happened.
Mm-hmm.
And so we ended up getting full custody for like a whole summer, pretty much.
Okay.
And during that time, I wasn't working, so the caretaking pretty much fell on me.
Okay.
And I feel like I struggled a lot. My husband and I had a lot of issues during that time. We almost got a divorce.
Why? Because as you're saying this, I'm thinking this has nothing to do with that little boy.
No. During the time when we were going to get divorced, it was mostly like financial issues. He was like on the Ramsey, like gung-ho about Ramsey, and I wasn't.
Okay.
And we just had a bunch of issues. We started seeing a financial counselor, and we fixed that. We pretty much got on the same page. And ever since then, my husband and I have been great.
Okay.
But I feel like this thing with my stepson has me feeling like I'm struggling. And
what's the struggle? Is he loud? Is he annoying? Is he a brat? Is he not feeling like your daughter feels? What is the thing you're struggling with?
Well, yeah, pretty much you said it. Like he's just very loud, kind of body, just stuff that I'm not used to. Like with my daughter, she's just very chill, very laid back. I had all girls in my family, like nothing but sisters, cousins, pretty much girls. And so I wasn't used to boys.
Welcome to the Terra Dome, Tamara. You're in
and
you're in it now.
I know. So with him, I was like, oh my goodness, like, is this how boys, he's a lot.
That's the exact words my wife used to describe me. What's it like living with John? And she's like, it's a lot. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Yes. Not every boy. Some boys are quiet. Some boys are do their own thing, and some boys are maniacs.
Yeah.
It sounds like you have some expectations about what you're supposed to feel and how kids are supposed to be, and that's the issue here. I don't ever want to punish a 7-year-old boy for being a 7-year-old boy. Or let me say punish. I don't want to dislike a 7-year-old boy for being a 7-year-old boy.
Yeah, exactly. And I don't want to feel that way. I was a child of divorced parents.
Okay.
So I had, step parents. My stepdad sort of like didn't really care for us. Mm-hmm. To this day, I've never had a real conversation with my stepdad. Okay. Like he just didn't care much for us.
So will you change that?
I'm sorry?
Are you going to change that?
With my stepdad?
Nope. Can't.
Or
that one's got a period at the end. But now you're a step parent.
Yes.
And you get to change what happens moving forward. Are you gonna do that?
Yes, I want to. That's why I'm here.
Do you there we go. Okay. So before I walk you through it, do you want to, or do you want to? Because
I
if you
want.
want to, it's going to require you to do different things.
Yeah.
If you want to, then you just have to wait until you decide you actually want to make some changes in your life.
Yeah. I want to.
Okay. So I'm going to tell you something that's hard and is not politically correct. Is that cool?
Uh-huh.
Okay. I don't care about how you feel. As the adult, I care more about right now what you do.
Yeah.
Okay. You can't compare him to the feelings and connection you have with your daughter. Okay. It's gonna feel different, especially right now. And especially because they're so different, right? And so comparing them, a total fool's errand, man. You'll crash that into the ditch. I called a buddy of mine who's has somewhat of a similar situation. Just walk through like, hey, what are some things you experience in the house? What are some things your wife experienced in that? So comparison is what's going to kill you. The second thing is you've got to let completely go your preconceived notions of what full custody was going to mean. I think you're still hanging on. You fought for custody. You were all in until you like, oh, this is what a 7-year-old boy in the house feels like and looks like. How does pee get everywhere, right? How does it get everywhere? It just does. You're going to have to let those preconceived notions go and let your 7-year-old be who your 7-year-old is.
Yeah.
My guess is that summer that you spent, you had some preconceived notions about what that summer's going to look like. And all of a sudden you ended up and it was July and you were basically just a caretaker of your new husband's kid. And it was less about, I bet you're fun to hang out with, but it was less about that and more about, I didn't sign up for this, or I had different expectations for this. And now my life is different than I thought it was going to be. Is that fair?
Yes.
Okay. So I care way more about what you do. Have you had like a weekly date with him? Just us two? I'm going to take him out for breakfast or dinner, just us two.
It's been a while.
Okay.
But yeah, I agree that I feel like I should do more of that with him.
It's not big, huge, grand gestures. It's not like I got to take him to Disneyland. It's not that. It's the tiny little things that he hasn't had in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Once a week, you get breakfast with stepmom, and we're gonna pick some restaurant. I eat at Waffle House with my kid, and I literally am dying every time I have breakfast. I know this, but the time with him is worth it, right? I mean, from what I'm eating, but it's a great time with him, but it's always on the calendar. And so letting him know relationally, I'm going to keep showing up. I'm going to invest in you. Little things like, hey, give me a list of books and movies you like. I'm reading an old Michael Crichton book right now because I'm doing a book exchange with my son. And it wouldn't have been a book that I picked, but I'm trying to get into it so I can get into his world and I can talk to him, things he's interested in. See what I'm saying? And ultimately, he's going to remember Dad invested in me. Dad came to my world sometimes and didn't always drag me along to his. And so I'd love you to make a list of music, a list of, my son the other day got in the truck and you've probably heard me talk about his love for 90s country. I had like I don't know, Garth Brooks or Brooks and Dunn. They're all, I don't know, CD in my CD player in the truck. And he's like, Dad, what are you listening to? And I said, I'm listening to this because I love you. And he beamed, right? So you may have to grit your teeth through some new hip hop artist or through some new pop country artist. I don't care. We're going to teach him that I'm investing in you. Okay. And then the little thing, would he give you a hug every day?
Yes. And see, that's what gets me sometimes because he's so like cuddly and, you know, just like he's a sweet boy. And sometimes I struggle with like feeling, you know, that, or like he'll come up and hug me when I get home. Sometimes he'll come before my daughter does and like give me a big hug. And
why does that catch? Why don't you like that? Or why don't you see that for what it is, which is a little boy saying, am I safe? Do you love me?
I don't know.
Okay. What do you feel when he hugs you? Annoyed? Frustrated? Get away from me? What do you feel?
Um, Gosh, like I would say
Just say it.
maybe
Just say
annoyed.
it. Just say what?
Maybe annoyed because I
Okay.
don't feel like that connection.
Mm-hmm.
Um, so yeah.
What is the connection gonna feel like?
I don't know, like it does when, my daughter comes up to hug me or something.
It will never feel like that.
Uh-huh.
Would you do that to a 7-year-old like in the mall?
Would I?
Yeah. Or would you, if a 7-year-old in the mall or at church or something came up to give you a hug, would you be like, ugh?
um, Probably. Probably.
Well,
I've
hey,
just never been like a really like
thank you
huggy,
for being honest. So
cuddly person. So
here's an important thing. Number one, you can teach him boundaries by saying, I'm not a big hugger, but I do like this. Let's come up with a secret handshake together. Or
okay.
you can practice not quote unquote feeling like a hug, but still hugging this little 7-year-old boy anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. That's what adults do.
Yes.
Is they do the right thing, even though they quote unquote don't feel like it. I didn't feel like working out this morning. You do it anyway. Right.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Now, when it comes to your body, that's a little bit different. So there may come seasons when you say, I don't want him burying his head in my chest and I don't want him nuzzling up on me. That's fine. Here's how we're going to do this instead. Right. So, but we're not starving him and cutting him off. Because right now he's wondering what was so bad about him that his mom left. What was so bad about me that dad made mom go away?
Well, his mom is in the picture. We have half custody.
I
Sorry,
know.
I guess.
I know.
Yeah.
But his whole world has exploded.
Mm-hmm.
And he's coming to you every time saying, am I safe?
Yeah.
Do you love me? And your body is telling him, ew, ew, 7th grade boy, gross. Or 7-year-old boy, gross.
Mm-hmm.
2nd grader, don't do that.
Yeah.
Okay? Even if you don't feel like it, that connection with that kid doesn't mean you have to nuzzle up to him, doesn't mean you have to, there's a fine line here, but it's right. Let me ask you this hard question. And I may be out to lunch here, okay? Is there something about seeing him? Well, let me preface it this way. I had a girlfriend for a long time before I got married. I've been married 20 years. And I'm friends with almost all my old girlfriends. Like I am cordial, would say hi to them, all that. So it's not like a weird thing. My wife told me once, I'll always be jealous of so-and-so. And I said, why? We've been married for 2 decades.
Mm-hmm.
And the response was so insightful. And she said, because she'll always have something I don't have. And I was like, what's that? And she said, 5 more years of knowing you.
Mm-hmm.
She'll always be ahead of me. And it never occurred to me. And again, that jealousy is not like my wife's waking up in the middle of the night with lipstick on the right, drawing on the mirror, right? Nothing like that. But it's this idea like there's always a little tiny, I didn't know you as a freshman. She did in high school. I didn't know you as a weird, awkward junior in high school. She did, right? So is there something about seeing this little boy that reminds you or acknowledges that your husband had another life before you?
Yeah, and I think it's also has to do with like he has a lot of his mom's qualities. Like, he's sort of like negative. He can be very negative, very he can be a little manipulative sometimes.
Okay, hold on. You are putting adult issues on a child.
Yeah.
Ex-wife may be super manipulative. 7-year-old little boy is trying to figure out a way to get an adult to love him because the other adults in his life blew up his life.
Yeah.
Very, very different. Even if both of the actions look the same, right? A lying 7-year-old is different than a lying 30-year-old. Lying's not good, but one of them signals something. You see what I'm saying?
Yes.
So don't put adult characteristics, adult issues into the heart and mind of that little 7-year-old.
Mm-hmm.
And you opted into this marriage, into this relationship with a guy who had been on another honeymoon before, who made another human before. You did too, by the way. And so don't punish the 7-year-old for your insecurities, for your husband's past, for his crazy ex-wife. That little 7-year-old doesn't deserve that. You see what I'm saying?
Okay.
And the path through that is you making peace with the relationship that you chose, which is this new marriage. And it's you making peace with you're enough.
Mm-hmm.
Does your husband walk around wishing he had his ex-wife back?
No.
Okay, then don't walk around. You don't walk around that house saying, well, he used to have another woman that he loved. Don't do that. Don't do that. Why? That's just choosing to be miserable, right? And I want you to practice doing new things with this little boy, even when you quote unquote don't feel like it. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to send you the questions for humans for kids. Okay.
Okay.
And I want you to commit to 2 months. That's 8 breakfasts with him in a row so that there's some sort of routine. And take these cards. It's all you have to do is take these cards, just you two together, and ask him some of these questions. Okay.
Okay.
That's it. And he asks you, you got to be honest and answer. And if he actually says something funny, laugh. And if he comes at you to hug you and his hands are covered in frogs and worms or whatever else, you can grab his wrists and say, hold on, go wash your hands. And you're teaching him hygiene and hospitality. And then you're going to give him that hug. Even though he looks like his mom, even though he acts like your husband's ex, because he's just a little 7-year-old boy wondering, are you going to leave me too?
Okay.
Are you going to leave him?
No.
Ever?
I don't want to.
No. I don't want to. What's Yoda say? There is no try. Are you going to leave him?
No.
Okay. Rest on that. Exhale on that. I'm going to be here. So what does that mean? That means I get to decide what this relationship looks like moving forward. And since I'm the adult, I'm going to do things even when I don't quote unquote feel like them. I'm going to use my energy to connect with this kid. This kid is going to graduate high school and he's going to have some challenges because the divorce was a big deal. The fighting is a big deal. The back and forth with mom and the dad and ex, all that's a big deal. But this kid will never wonder if I loved him. He's never going to wonder if I would show up if he needed me because I'm going to have laid a path that he knows exactly who I am and how much he means to me. And you as the adult are going to have to practice that. And don't compare him to your daughter. They're never going to be the same. Never going to be the same. And that's okay. Thank you so much for the call, Tamara. You're a brave stepmom. Lean into it.